Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Richard Kessler, Executive Dean for the College of Performing Arts and Dean of the Mannes School of Music. On behalf of everyone associated with CoPA and its three schools, the School of Drama, the School of Jazz and Contemporary Music, and the Mannes School of Music, as well as programs that are centered in the College of Performing Arts, spanning all three schools, I want to welcome you. I also want to note the faculty is excited about this moment, the staff is excited about this moment, the Board of Governors are excited about this moment, and I am excited about this moment. Welcome to the 2020 orientation and welcome to the College of Performing Arts. Now, a few things. It's not an ordinary orientation because ordinarily I would be standing in front of you on a stage looking you in the eye and welcoming you all here. You probably would have applauded and I would have been touched by it. And instead, we're here speaking to you on Zoom, and we have a year for you this year that has been specially designed for this modality. We have left behind the courses that didn't work as well online last spring and added more courses that we believe work online. And we have done our best to make this fall semester the very best that it can be for you. Now, I'd like to mention, when you think about this moment, you're part of a long history of people who have been exactly where you are the very first day of orientation. We can think of the people. We can think that in the early 1940s, Harry Belafonte was sitting in an audience for orientation. We could think that Burt Bacharach was sitting in an orientation for the Mannes School of Music and also the New School. We can think that Robert Glasper, 10 or 15 years ago, was here at an orientation, or in the 1950s, Bill Evans was actually playing at jazz clubs at night, but sitting in an orientation for the Mannes School of Music. Whether it be Richard Good, whether it be Frederica von Stade. We have had all these people who have come before you, Simeon Bitchkoff, Brad Meldau, James Francis, relatively recent graduates, or important historic figures of the past. They were all exactly where you are right now, excited about the beginning of a new school year, wondering how will it go? Who will I meet? What are my teachers like? What will the courses be? Will I be able to get everything done that I want to get done? It's an exciting moment. It's an exciting time. And I want to wish you all the very best year that you could possibly have. And to know that we are here for you. I, the Executive Dean, and all of the deans and all of the leaders on the Dean's Council are here for you all year. You can contact us as you need, and we will do everything we can to make sure that this is the most successful fall semester that it can possibly be. So thank you very much, and welcome to the College of Performing Arts 2020 edition.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie Kujer. I'm the Vice Dean of Curriculum at the College of Performing Arts. This afternoon, or at least this afternoon in New York City, I have the great pleasure of welcoming students from two of our programs, the MA in Arts Management and Entrepreneurship, lovingly known as the MAAME program, and students in the Performer Composer program, or the MPC program. As Richard mentioned, these programs are unique because they don't sit in one of our three colleges at the College of Performing Arts. They are in the umbrella space. They span all of our genres and practices. And it's interesting because these programs started when the College of Performing Arts was formed in 2015. They're fairly new, and we're excited to be able to have these programs as our space to welcome artists together in this college space. I'd like to welcome our fourth cohort of the MAAME program. The MAAME program is a degree program for enterprising and socially engaged artists who want to continue their artistic practice and explore the options for starting new nonprofit organizations, working for current arts organizations, working in the area of creative placemaking, or as artists, entrepreneurs, and artist activists. New this year, we're excited to welcome our first cohort of the MPC Performer Composer degree. This moment in time is so exciting for us for the MMPC because we are looking and have curated a group of artists that are high-level performer, composers, and improvisers. In addition to this, they're using a high level of technology, experimentation, and innovation in their practices. We couldn't think of a more perfect moment for musicians to be working in this realm online and spanning and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This semester, you'll have great opportunities to partner with our amazing faculty in the MA and MMPC programs. You'll also have the opportunity to collaborate with each other and also with other students across the College of Performing Arts and the New School. Like all of our programs at CoPA, but especially with the MAMA and MMPC programs, we ask our students to push the boundaries of what's possible in their own artistry, in their art forms, in their communities, and to make change in the world. I couldn't be more excited in welcoming a cohort of students into these programs at this interesting and challenging time in our world. The world needs artists now more than ever to show us possibility, beauty, and hope, and we can't wait to see what the MA and MMPC students do this year. Have a great fall semester, MA and MMPC students, and I'm going to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Dean Pippin Parker of the School of Drama.
Thanks so much, Maggie. Appreciate it. And just a special welcome to our drama students, drama BFA students, new students. This is the transition moment, the sort of pivot moment, the end of one process. It's the end of our admissions process. We had about 600 applicants for our BFA program, and the beginning of this incredibly exciting future that you're about to embark upon. I also want to welcome the diversity of our students who represent about 18 states across the United States, about 7 or 8 countries across the world. And while we won't be together in person, we are going to have a chance to congregate, convene, collaborate, and all the important C words together via technology and begin what I think is going to be an incredible process of making. And collaborative making is the heart of our work. It involves not only drama, but all of our schools, jazz, Manus, and CoPA wide students. And we are thrilled to be a part of this transition, the end of your high school days, the end of your childhood in a certain kind of way, and the beginning of your artistry. So as fellow artists, and all of our faculty are practicing artists, the school is really staffed and administrated and led by practicing artists. So we welcome you into our family, our community of humans who are looking to make our disciplines and our world and our professions more relevant, more hopeful, and leave positive change in our wake. So welcome. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Dr. G, Associate Dean of Manus School of Music, College of Music, Bill Gustafson.
Thank you, Pippin. Yes, I am indeed Dr. G, as the moniker goes. I can't tell you how wonderful it is, even via Zoom and through our computer cameras, to welcome all of you to our Manus Bachelor students, our Manus Master students, our Diploma students. Welcome one, welcome all. This hour is just the start. It's our chance to share some information with you. But bear in mind, we have individual sessions already scheduled for tomorrow to walk through degree programs. The advising sessions, the emails back and forth will continue throughout this week into next to make sure that you have all the information that you're looking for and that you can really hit the ground running this coming fall and starting on Monday, a week from today, with our first day of class. You know, the enthusiasm and excitement that we hope you're sensing in our voices is authentic, because we feel that what we have created for all of you this fall is 100% authentic. To echo Dean Kuzer's thoughts, now more than ever, the world needs artists to create, to lead, and to bring about the change in the world that we are all so desperate for. In this moment, now is not the time to take your foot off the gas pedal in your own artistic development. We are here to support you and to guide you in all of those efforts. So again, to echo my colleagues, welcome one, welcome all. It truly is going to be an extraordinary year ahead of us. I'd like to now turn things over and ask the Dean of the School of Jazz and Contemporary Music, Keller Coker, to offer his welcoming thoughts.
All right, Bill, thank you so much. And welcome everyone. I can't express how thrilled I am to be here welcoming you today and to be on the edge of the beginning of this new academic year with you. These are incredibly exciting times for artists. The whole world is changing, and you're going to be a huge part of that future, the future of art, the future of music. And the beginning of that is now. And there are so many things. I could talk much longer than the time I've been allotted. There are so many things for you to look forward to this coming semester and this coming year. But what I can tell you is that the faculty that you're going to be working with can't wait to hit the ground running with you. They're looking forward to working with you. And in spite of whatever modality, whether online or in person, as you go through these semesters going forward, it's that faculty mentoring you and working with you, and the incredible peers, the other students at the College of Performing Arts that you'll be working with, that will be your family of artists and collaborators for the rest of your lives. And this is, for so many, and I believe for you all, truly the beginning of your lives as artists. And one of the ways that students participate across the college, as we've said, is this class that we've created called the Improv Artist Lab, where students from the School of Drama, the Mannes School of Music, and the School of Jazz and Contemporary Music get together in equal numbers and create new work with Jane Ira Bloom and Joe Grafazzi, faculty members from the School of Jazz and from the School of Drama. And so now we would like to show you some of the work from Improv Artist Lab Spring 2020.
I want to talk to you about life. To see if they, and they didn't.
Is it possible that I can do the next thing across the street? Maybe except over in front of the camera. And was it one person or a group of friends that was there?
You think there are no angels anymore. No angels to come at night and tell us of joy, sorrow, love and death. No breath of wings, no touch of palms to tell us divinity is near. Today our revelations come from telephone or the postman at the door. You say, the hour when fate is near.
I need to be surrounded with culture right now. Not tuna fish.
It is my pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for today. When I think about this keynote speaker, I think about the moments when people have said to me, I can do one thing. I could play the violin, but nothing else. I could sing an opera aria, but I can't do other things. I can't create grant proposals. I can't run an organization. I'm not sure I'm entrepreneurial. I don't know much about technology. We've brought the keynote speaker here today because Luke Stewart is someone who basically points the way towards the ability to do many things and to do all of those things well, defining the broad and deep ways in which artists make their way in the 21st century. Bass player, both electric and upright. Saxophonist, jazz artist, electronic artist, presenter, radio host, an ubiquitous figure in DC, and a growing presence in improvised music throughout the world. This is someone who does it all beautifully, and in addition to that, who has a point of view, who stands on his own 2 feet, has a perspective, and is not afraid to speak that perspective. This is our Luke Stewart, someone who makes us so proud to be able to say that he is an alumni of our wonderful school. So please, everyone, welcome Luke Stewart as keynote speaker. Luke Stewart.
Peace, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to this brand new journey. Welcome to this journey in this time. And I'm sorry to have to be doing this in this manner here. Hopefully, as we go forward in these troubling times, in this technological things that we have to deal with in order to be connected and to create together, that we can get it going. But I'm very excited about that also. I can talk about that a little bit later. But yes, as Richard said, I've done a lot of things in my career. I started off as a radio person, which I still am. Started off at a station in Washington, D.C. called WPFW 89.3 FM, your station for jazz and justice in the nation's capital. If anybody either from DC, I'm not sure the makeup of the incoming class here, but hopefully those who are from the area, if you are from the area or have visited the area, have checked it out. WPFW 89.3 FM, your station for jazz and justice. So that's where I got my start. In a lot of ways, that was my my graduate school in the music and in a lot of different life experiences, because there were people there that had very, very deep influences and experiences with the music, with jazz, and with a lot of other different approaches to music. And not all of them were musicians either, which I think is an important aspect. In fact, one of my earliest mentors was a man named Jamal Muhammad, and he was a radio host on the afternoon stream at WPFW. But he just had a wealth of experience and knowledge and information from his time with the Nation of Islam in New York, and was also again, he wasn't a musician, but he was very much around the scene uptown, befriended a lot of the famous jazz musicians that perhaps you will be studying at the New School. People like Illinois Jacquette, Max Roach, people like that, who were at the time really establishing what this music would be. and established a framework for the music that continues to inspire people to be involved in it, such as you all. So anyway, that was WPFW. A lot of different people influenced that journey, but my first forays into jazz music indeed did happen in Washington, D.C. I'm originally from a small town on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Yes, there is a Gulf Coast in Mississippi, and that's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. But then I moved to, for a number of different circumstances, I moved to Washington, D.C., and that's when I got involved in, and really for the first time was exposed to jazz music, and was able to involve myself in the practice of jazz music. Before then, my journey as a musician in Mississippi as a high school student, and as first couple of years after high school, I went to a university in of Mississippi for a year and a half before I moved to DC. During that time, there was no interaction with any jazz scene. There was very little interaction with a sort of the culture that I felt connected to, other than the DIY culture, DIY America, which definitely did exist in southern Mississippi, the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama, and of course going over to New Orleans and elsewhere in the South also. So I found myself as a musician involved in a lot of sort of DIY things, basically hardcore punk bands and experimental, very, very experimental things. So that experience led me to have the perspective that it attributed to the perspective that I have on the music, on jazz music, as I continue to study and learn, reading books and talking to elders and getting the information from people at WPFW and from elsewhere, learning that the DIY was the DIY quote unquote movement that was happening. And I'm really sorry that I can't interact with any of you young musicians, because I would love to hear more about the state of that today. I have a lot of questions on that, but basically there when in 2010 I co-founded a organization in Washington, D.C. called Capital Bop, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to covering, presenting, and promoting jazz in Washington, D.C. And we took a more, shall you say, holistic approach to the music. If anybody is familiar with Washington, D.C. as a music community or as a jazz community, then you understand sort of where the sensibilities might lie. So we tried to present at the time a more holistic approach to the music, rather than just these campy things about straight ahead or avant-garde or what have you. It's all the same music. It's all coming from the same Black American experience, and it should be presented as such, without any false senses of separation. And also, again, coming back to the DIY sensibilities, that experience that I had, and also being involved in DC with sort of the storied DIY community of Washington, DC, with the Discords and et cetera, et cetera. I was involved in an indie band, so to speak, and was very much in touch with that community, which was separate from the jazz community. and is still separate from the jazz community in many cities, which is a shame. So Capital Bop was founded basically to fuse those communities, to put jazz back into the DIY context, and in which, you know, in reality and in true function, jazz has been DIY for decades, for many years, even as it has become sort of the identifiable, you know, America's classical music has gained a lot of notoriety based on a lot of different movements and positions that hopefully you'll learn about in some of your classes at the new school. A lot of the histories of how these things came about. So so the DIY in DC was a thing that I was also involved in. So fusing the communities there, and essentially we found that not only were we exposing, you know, people that were our age at the time, in our early 20s, the first time that they'd ever heard jazz, experienced jazz, you know, even in a place where there was jazz, because it was in the context where they were more familiar, in a DIY venue, warehouse sort of situation. So that, and these things all are sort of happening at the same time. When Richard is talking about the multifaceted nature of my career, of my journey, and you know, a lot of people also. I'm not singular in this approach of being in everything, sort of being engaged in a lot of things. Yes, I am an upright bass player and an electric bass guitar player. I also play the drums and keyboards, and my first serious instrument was saxophone. But again, all of these things are happening concurrently. The depth of engagement in all of these things is happening concurrently, and the perspective and experience is being absorbed concurrently. So I think that one of the biggest things that you can take away from your experience at the new school, from your experience with the Ma'ame program or the performer composer program, which is one of the biggest things that I took away from my experience at new school, was to gain a greater perspective on who you are and the world that exists. Probably the best thing that you can do is to see things, understand the world for what it really is. Starting right there, essentially starting from the truth, starting from the truth based on facts. Where are we right now? And who are you right now? And what would you like to be? How would you like to see the world? How would you like to see yourself in the world? These are things that the new school will hopefully help you with discovering for yourself, which is very important. So definitely pay attention, and also acknowledge the fact that you're in a very, very lucky position. I was so lucky to have found this program and to have been accepted into this program and to be nourished in this program. Because this is indeed, as Richard was saying in his address at the very beginning, there's a long list. You're endowed with a legacy already, that you can be open to, that you can learn from. That if a student is 100% open to the things that are going on at the new school, then you're going to be just fine, I think. So if there's anything that I would say for your experience at the new school is just to be open. Don't close yourself off. Don't limit yourself. You know, other people are going to do what they're going to do, but for yourself, don't limit yourself. So anyway, I've talked a little bit about some of my organizational activities, some of my musical, so a little bit of my journey is there's a lot that I could say, mainly about my forays into, since New School is based in New York, my forays into the New York community, which was an extension of really my organizational and musical statements being made in Washington, D.C., essentially being invited into the New York City music community and finding a very loving and supportive community to obviously, to my surprise, because that's not what they say about New York, right? But it's been a beautiful and very challenging also experience dealing with the music and dealing with peers and elders, and just the logistics of New York City also is also a challenge for, but also can fuel the, obviously is one of the things that fuels the creativity. That's one of the things that people say about the city. So hopefully you'll get to come once. I'm not sure where everybody is physically located, but hopefully as things start to open back up and travel restrictions and other restrictions are being eased, hopefully that that experience can happen. And also, especially for the international students who may or may not be coming back, if and when you do get here, make sure to go to visit places outside of New York, see music outside of New York if you can, and to also, again, to widen that perspective, to gain more perspective. That's the most important things about artistry, I feel, is to have a widening perspective, to be open to possibilities, to creations, to new developments. And I want to end with just a talk a little bit about the times that we're in. Obviously, the situation that is causing us to be here in this medium, the COVID situation. Obviously, there's in the shutdowns, people are all over the place, myself included, trying to make sense of everything and trying to sort of more so accept that this is happening and that we must act accordingly. But within that, again, looking at things for what they really are. So for me, I've been able to, as a musician, as an artist, one of the biggest helpful things for me was to not put pressure on myself to be, in the practice room, in the shed every single day, for 8 hours, since now that I have all this time, I can, do all that sort of thing. It's important to allow yourself, and this is applicable if you're a musician or any sort of creative person working on a creative endeavor, whether it be an organization, which is indeed an artistic creative endeavor, and whether it's an organization, whether it's a theater piece, whether it's a dance piece, whether it's an opera, what have you. If you allow yourself to get into a natural flow of inspiration, which leads to discipline. Inspiration is what is the fundamental reason why we do what we do, right? We do what we do based on the passion and the inspiration that we feel. Okay, so if you allow yourself to take the time to have a natural flow of inspiration. You might find, which I found during this time, is that the inspiration comes very, very often. And so the practices, the discipline of being an artist becomes that much more enjoyable and much more fruitful, because you're essentially remembering that you're having fun. You're doing art for your own benefit first, because you like it. And then you find the applicable ways for your art and for yourself to be in service to the greater good. So my message during COVID, during this racial unrest, during the injustices that continue to happen towards the Black American community, towards the queer community, towards the immigrant community, as we exist in these times, be inspired by that. Put all that negative energy, put all that that evil, those feelings, the reactions that you're feeling, put it in the art, put it in the organization, put it in the music, and also organize around those feelings that you're feeling. And organize, not even necessarily with an organization. Organize with your friends. Have hard conversations with your parents and with your teachers. Challenge your teachers. If you see something, say something. So I say that to say, go out there and be inspired. And I can't wait to see what happens with this cohort, with this class at the new school. If anybody wants to follow up with me, ask me any questions, feel free to do that. I love that. My website is thelukestewart.com, just my name with a the before it. So like thelukestewart.com. My email address is iamlukestewart@gmail.com. That's iamlukestewart@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram also at Take a Luke Around. That's at Take a Luke Around. So thank you so much for having me, everybody. And I can't wait to see what happens with this crew.
Hello, I'm Stephen Brown-Fried, Associate Dean of the School of Drama here at the College of Performing Arts, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. You've just been watching an original composition titled Zoom by Manus composition student Scott Fish and performed by Manus percussion student Yuyi Liu. The piece was composed and recorded in spring 2020 as part of a project called House Music, New Works for Household Percussion, conceived by faculty members David T. Little, Missy Mazzoli, and Ian Rosenbaum. This project paired 4 composers with student percussionists to create new works for the instruments, objects, dishes, and cutlery the percussionists happened to have with them in quarantine. And it's a great example of the incredible creativity, ingenuity, and collaboration that's possible between our students and faculty here at the College of Performing Arts. This week, to welcome you and to begin your journey here at the new school, we have an incredible schedule of workshops and special events that will not only give you an introduction to the inspiring artistry that happens here at CoPA, it'll also allow you to start meeting with your classmates and developing the relationships that'll fuel the work that you'll do here at the new school and beyond. If you're an entering first-year undergraduate student, you're going to get to take part in the CoPA Core orientation workshops. The CoPA Core program is the embodiment of the college's core values of innovation, interdisciplinary collaboration, and social engagement. This year, as part of the CoPA Core program, first-year undergraduates will be taking a roster of 4 cutting-edge courses with classmates from across the college examining 4 central areas of the CoPA Core vision: improvisation and collaboration, socially engaged artistry, the whole human artist, and tech and experimentation. To give you a preview of the work that you're going to be doing in your CoPA Core courses and to give you a chance to connect with your fellow first-year students, you'll take part in your choice of 3 of the 10 CoPA Core workshops on offer this week. These workshops range from digital extensions of your creativity, in which you'll explore how digital technology can enable discovery and strengthen collaboration with Manus faculty member Ross Kerr, to practicing presence and exploring embodiment, a guided movement experience led by drama faculty member Shannon Stowe. There's Meet, Create, Collaborate, in which you'll explore improvisation and collaboration with jazz faculty member Faye Victor, and much, much more. Information on all of these workshops and the schedule of when they're happening and the schedule of the other orientation events, program information sessions, mixers, and more is all available at the new school's virtual orientation hub. In addition to this, we're hosting events all week here at the College of Performing Arts to showcase the mind-blowing artistry of our community, including a CoPA Core open mic night tonight at 6 p.m., hosted by faculty member Rebecca Heller and featuring CoPA students performing and sharing their work. On Wednesday at 5, we'll have one of our CoPA conversations between drama faculty member Dennis Hilton-Reed and jazz faculty member Nikki Richards. And then on Thursday at 5, we're going to have a CoPA Artist Hour with performances by faculty members Peter Bernstein and Angelica Sanchez. Information about these events and on everything going on at the College of Performing Arts can be found at coparemote.com, which is your information center for all things CoPA right now. If you should have any questions about the orientation schedule or events, you can also email copaorientation@newschool.edu. And if you should have any questions about your courses, you can email those to your advisors at copaadvising@newschool.edu. We know this is going to be an incredible week, and it's going to be the start of an incredible semester. We are so excited to get to know each and every one of you. Thank you for being here with us today, and most of all, welcome to the College of Performing Arts.